Good morning. Good morning. I am Ryan Clifton Bolin. Well, it looks like Steve Harvey is not too pleased with cancel culture and political correctness. He made a statement addressing this situation in reference to comedians today who basically are being hindered from actually being comedians because the concept of political correctness have basically silenced the mouths of some of the greatest comedians out here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read an article, a relatively short article from Breitbart News. And then when I'm completed reading that article, I'm going to give you my opinion on the origin of political correctness and what I think is really the real motive of political correctness. It's not what people think it is. It sounds good, but it's not what people think it is. So I'm going to read that article right now. We're going to go right into it. The title of the article is Steve Harvey Blasts Cancel Culture. Political Correctness Has Killed Comedy. Actor, comedian, and talk show host Steve Harvey is furious at the cancel culture, which he says, quote, has killed comedy. And the fact that, quote, every joke now, it hurts somebody's feelings. The host of the new Judge Steve Harvey series told the media Tuesday that he feels imprisoned by the cancel culture. We're in the cancel culture now, Harvey told a Television Critics Association press tour panel, according to the Hollywood Reporter, which, let me say something real quick. Though this is commendable of him, he's just now coming out and recognizing that we're in cancel culture. Anyway, nobody can say anything he wants to. Chris Rock can't. Kevin Hart can't. Cedric the Entertainer can't. D.L. Hughley can't. I can go down the list. The only person that can say what they want to say on stage is Dave Chappelle because he's not sponsor driven. He's subscription. Harvey went on to say that his career as a stand-up is seriously hampered by the Hollywood left today. If I had tried to continue as a stand-up, there's no way I could maintain it because political correctness has killed comedy. Has killed it, he added. Every joke now, it hurts somebody's feelings. What people don't understand about comedians is that a joke has to be about something. Absolutely. It has to be about, that was me saying absolutely. It has to be about somebody. We can't write jokes about puppies all the time. The joke can't be about bushes all the time. Some of these jokes have to be about people because that's the most interesting topic. So if I can't come back, I have to wait until I'm done with my TV career. And I'm not done. I've had to call it This Is It or something like that. However, stand-up is on hold, Harvey noted. After his wife informed him that, quote, God was about to do something, I had no idea what he's going to do. He was going to give me this new show, and it turned out to be the best thing that happened to me. Harvey's latest show sets him up as a judge presiding over a small claims court in the vein of groundbreakers such as Judge Joseph Wapner and Judge Judy Shanklin. Small claims cases suit Harvey just fine. Violence and criminal cases just aren't his speed, he noted. Interesting. Every law is not a correct law. We have a law in this country that everybody has the right to bear arms, but everybody shouldn't bear arms. Everybody shouldn't have a gun. Now that right there, I get what he's saying, but he doesn't understand what these far leftist liberals are trying to do. They're trying to take guns away from law-abiding citizens, but that's another story and I digress. That's clear to me. Every stand your ground law, everybody shouldn't be told to stand their ground. That's why I'm glad my show is not that type of court, he said during the panel. Harvey's new show premiered on January 4th and is seen on ABC affiliates Tuesdays during prime time. And that's the end of that article right there. Now, just make a quick comment right there. I don't totally agree. I understand what he's saying about the gun situation, but that's not what everybody shouldn't have a gun. Yeah, criminals shouldn't have a gun. But every law-abiding citizen who wants to protect their life and those whom they love should have a gun. It's criminals that shouldn't have a gun. But that's a whole nother story. Like I said, and I digress. But this is nothing new, what Steve Harvey is saying. And I hope and pray that he stands on his assertion that cancel culture has basically ruined everything for comedians. You can't say anything without offending someone, without someone being overly sensitive. But you got to ask yourself a question. Why is it that everybody is so sensitive today? What caused this oversensitive attitude? Because clearly it has not always been this case. People were not oversensitive about being cracked on. If you had overweight people or fat people, whatever, and you cracked on them and you made jokes on them, they didn't get overly sensitive. You know, back in the 60s and the 70s and maybe before them and even in the 80s, they weren't overly sensitive. If you made jokes about gay people, whatever, for the most part, the general population of gays didn't get offended by that. The only people that got offended by gay jokes were gay activists who were paid to push this agenda. But that's a whole nother story. Okay. Most people weren't getting offended by this type of stuff. So the question is, why are people so easily offended now that comedians like Steve Harvey and others can't crack jokes? They can't say anything. What I believe is this stems all the way back to the Frankfurt School of Marxism that I talked about before, that the Frankfurt School Marxists who migrated to America in the 1930s, they were assisted by John Dewey, considered to be the father of progressive education. And John Dewey was a socialist, and he agreed with Marxism and communism. And he helped assist these Frankfurt School professors whose intent was to destroy Christianity, destroy patriotism, destroy right and wrong, and destroy the family unit in America. That was their intention. It's in their writings. He agreed with that. John Dewey had the same philosophy. He helped these men, these professors, and placed them in different colleges all over the country. One of them was Columbia University, which I believe that John Dewey was a professor in at the time. And he helped assist these men. Now, you may say, what's that have to do with cancel culture? Because cancel culture, I believe, is a variant or a aspect of political correctness. Political correctness is a term that was created by the Frankfurt School Marxists decades ago. The purpose of political correctness is to shut the mouths of all dissenters and people who disagree with a Marxist revolution, or people who disagree with the ideology that they're pushing. That's what political correctness is. Cancel culture is just a variant of political correctness. It's a soft term that's used to basically silence dissenters. If you say political correctness, that's more accepting versus I'm going to hold a gun up to you and say and challenge what you're saying. If you disagree with my Marxist revolution and I want to bring communism in this country, if you disagree with them, boom, I'll blow your head off. Okay. Well, that's what political correctness is, and that's what cancel culture is, as far as I'm concerned. Based on my studies, that's what I found out what it to be, and I can see it. So it's just, and so what happens is with political correctness. Let's go back to political correctness. What it did was that it basically softened the minds and the hearts of millions of Americans all over the world. If you constantly pushing political correctness, cancel culture, political correctness, that's not politically correct. Don't say that, you might offend people. That gets in people's subconscious. And as a result, people are very, very weary about what they're going to say, whether they're a comedian, a politician, a preacher. I mean, I've even heard it in churches where certain pastors won't talk on certain subjects in the church now because subconsciously they considered it to be politically incorrect. Really? You mean to tell me you're a man or woman of God and you won't even preach to your people in the church things that you know the Bible strictly says is a sin? See how this political correctness and this variant of cancel culture has infected everyone's minds? And this has been going on for decades. That's one of the reasons why it's so hard, I believe, to uproot it, because it's embedded in the culture. This is also known as cultural Marxism. So what happens is, so like I said, Steve Harvey is just speaking out against his inability to really be funny. He's speaking out against the fact that, hey, I'm a comedian, man. That is my gifting. This is what I want to do. This is part of who I am. This is what God put in me. And I can't do it because cancel culture and political correctness will shut me down. People have become so ultra sensitive. But like I said, the individuals that are ultra sensitive is not the vast majority of gays, not the vast majority of women, not the regulars. It's the activist groups. It's the far left activist groups that supposedly represent these masses of people. But they really don't represent the masses of people because the masses of people don't care. They really only represent themselves. And they are highly paid and financed by people like George Soros and other financiers. Okay, so this is all a Marxist setup to keep division in the country. And in my opinion, cancel culture is just a way to shut the mouths of all people who disagree with the radical left. That's all it is. Because you got people tipping around on eggshells, scared to say anything. Eventually, if more people don't wake up to this, if more high officials and high profile people like Steve Harvey and others don't speak out against this, it's going to fester, it's going to grow and get worse and worse and worse and worse. And sooner or later, people won't want to say anything that's in disagreement with the Marxist revolution or in disagreement with the things that the Marxist revolutionaries support. And they will have accomplished one of their main goals, which is the shutting up of every free speech. It's really all about an attack against free speech. You people talk about, free speech, No. It's an attack against free speech. That's what it really is, in my opinion. Okay. So I just wanted to give my words when I read that article. What do you guys think? What do you think about Steve Harvey? Do you think that what he's saying is correct? That people are so sensitive now that stand-up comedians like himself can't really be funny. They really can't crack a joke on people without being shut down by the cancel culture. What do you think? What I think is just simply an attack against free speech by the Frankfurt School Marxist infiltrators who infiltrated our country decades ago for the main purpose of shutting down all dissenters in order to push their Marxist revolution. Okay, that's what I think. But whatever you guys think, please leave your comments in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, share this video, and subscribe. God bless you all, and see you again.